Hello everyone, you're very welcome to this webinar, and in today's session we will examine the structure and content of the new V Cert Level 1-2 Technical Awards. This is a generic introduction and will cover all 11 subject areas. For more subject-specific information, please do see our bite-sized webinars, which are available on the V Cert playlist on our YouTube channel. Firstly, some introductions to put a voice to a face. My name is Kelly Johnson and I'm a Provider Development Officer here at NCFE. My colleague Beth Hudspeth is also a Provider Development Officer, and our role is to support centres through the planning, onboarding and further CPD opportunities for the NCFE qualifications, particularly the V Cert qualifications, with a focus on promoting and advancing learning. This webinar will introduce the new V Cert Level 1-2 Technical Award qualifications. We'll explain your journey with us and guide you through the structure of the qualification, the examined and non-exam assessments, and we'll provide an overview of the quality assurance process. We'll also share a summary of the teaching and learning materials and other resources that we have available to support you in your delivery. Please note we're not able to answer any questions relating to the live NEA, which was released on the 1st of September 2023. If you do have any questions or queries, please do refer them to our customer support team using the details on the slide. Before I begin with an overview of the qualification, I'd just like you to take a moment to consider how confident you're currently feeling with delivery, assessment and quality assurance of the Level 1-2 V Cert qualification, with 1 being not a little confident and 10 being very confident. Wherever your confidence levels are, we would hope that by the end of this webinar you are feeling more knowledgeable and confident about the delivery, assessment and quality assurance of the new Level 1-2 V Cert qualifications. So I'll begin then with the onboarding process and your journey with us. The Provider Development team are committed to NCFE's core purpose of promoting and advancing learning. To achieve this, there are 3 different stages: pre-approval, onboarding and ongoing CPD. Pre-approval may have already occurred, and it is when the quality assurance team have approved your centre to deliver our qualifications. In the onboarding stage, once your centre is approved, the Provider Development team will support teaching staff throughout the year with a range of support interventions such as webinars, Q&A sessions, bite-sized videos and consultation calls where required. These support interventions will get you started with delivery, including key dates, prepare you for assessments, including signposting you to sample assessment materials, the quality assurance processes and how to access teaching and learning resources. In addition to the onboarding process, we will also support centres with ongoing CPD, looking at topical and relevant areas of interest such as exam techniques and revision strategies, preparing for a career and work experience opportunities, and for the wider curriculum, our bite-sized safeguarding series. I'll now talk you through the key points of the Level 1-2 Technical Award qualifications. On this slide are all the 11 qualifications that we have offered since the 1st of September 2022, including the qualification accreditation number. Throughout this webinar, we will be referring to all the subject areas, and again, for more subject-specific content, please do see the relevant specification on our website. V Certs fit into the open group or 3rd bucket for performance points. This group can hold up to 3 qualifications depending on the qualification size and/or its weighting. The V Cert qualifications will count towards the open group of Progress 8 measures. V Certs can also be delivered alongside other qualifications, but please do bear in mind the discount codes that are applicable to each subject area. So, for example, if you were doing a traditional GCSE in PE and we're also delivering our technical award in health and fitness with the same learners, then only one of those would count in the performance tables as their content is similar. Also, please note that health and fitness and sports studies have the same code, so learners can only select one, whereas health and social care and child development and care in early years have different codes, so they can be done at the same time. The new and refreshed V Cert Technical Awards have been designed in collaboration with employers and practitioners to empower your learners with industry-relevant skills and knowledge appropriate to a range of growing sectors. This really gives the learners a taste of what it's like to complete real-world tasks and projects and the opportunity to achieve based on their skills as well as their knowledge. They are designed to be completed by Level 1 and Level 2 learners combined, so if you do have a mixed ability class, they will be taught the same content and means that all achievements are recognised. They are all a single unit structure with multiple content areas within them, and the quals are all designed to be delivered across 120 hours, but the guided learning hours will vary between qualifications to accommodate the assessment time. So it's 120 hours for delivery, plus between 15 and 24 hours depending on the nature of the project. For the assessments, content could be sampled from across the full breadth of the qualification, so it is important that your learners have been taught everything before they begin their assessments. Summative assessment takes place in the second year, and the Level 1-2 is a compensatory model and has two assessments externally set by NCFE, one being the non-exam assessment and the other one is the written examined assessment. At Level 1, the grading covers pass, merit and distinction, and at Level 2, the grading covers pass, merit, distinction and distinction star, which is the equivalent to GCSE grades 8.5 to 1. We have removed the Level 1 distinction star to decompress grade boundaries at this level.
You may be familiar with this chart that shows how the V Cert grading matches with the GCSE grading. In the new V Cert grading, a Level 1 goes up to the maximum of a Grade 3 with a distinction, and the Level 2 goes to a maximum of a Grade 8.5 for a distinction star. The Department for Education has set this maximum as they want the top grades, i.e. the 9s, to be the academic GCSE achievement only. The purpose of the qualifications means that it is necessary to assess and understand through two meanings of assessment. That is an internal non-exam assessment, or NEA, and an examined assessment, or EA. These are the qualification weightings for all subject areas, with 60% for the NEA and 40% for the EA, except for child development and care in the early years and health and social care, where it is a 50% for the NEA and 50% for the EA. This slide shows a typical two-year delivery model. This is only a suggestion and it helps to illustrate the new structure so you can visualize how it's going to work for you. It essentially follows a very similar structure to that of a GCSE, in that the first year is for delivery, where there are no summative assessments, and the second year is the assessment year. It's been designed this way to allow the first year of delivery to be focused entirely on teaching the content of the qualification. This really allows you to focus on ensuring the learners are building up knowledge and skills and gives you as much time as possible to teach the qualification content so that your learners are ready for the assessment. All technical awards now have a terminal assessment rule as stipulated by Ofqual and the DfE. This means that the external examinations must be taken at the end of the qualification after the non-exam assessment, i.e. the synoptic project, has been completed. We will be releasing the NEA briefs on the 1st of September each year. It can also be administered from September to as long as all the content has been taught. We think the content could comfortably be delivered by December, ready to start the NEA in January, but some schools may get through everything sooner. The final marks will need to be submitted to the portal by the 30th of April each year, in which the learner evidence will be moderated. It can be delivered over 3 years, as some centres might want to start delivering in year 9, although we do recommend a 2-year delivery model so that it coincides with GCSEs. If you decide to deliver over 3 years, learners can be registered in the year and you will be prompted to book the assessment series at the time of registration. The assessments of our technical awards is mapped against assessment objectives, or AOs. They provide a consistent framework for learners and are applied synoptically, allowing learners to show their knowledge, understanding and skills from across the full breadth of the qualification. The table on this slide contains the AOs for interactive media, so do check the specification for the subject-specific AOs. To know, over the next few slides, I'll be referring to different subject areas, so please do check the qualification specification of your subject-specific information. This table on the slide shows approximate weightings for each of the AOs in the Health and Social Care Technical Award assessments. You will also see how this equates to the overall weightings of the assessment of the 50% split. For the NEA, AO4 is substantially weighted more than any other of the AOs where the learners demonstrate the essential technical skills relevant to the vocational sector. And for the EA, you'll see that AO1 is substantially weighted more than AO2 and AO3. AO1 is 40 to 45% where learners are to recall knowledge and show understanding, whereas the higher order thinking of analysis and evaluation accounts for only 20 to 25% of the marks in the EA. The V Cert qualifications have a single unit structure. They contain one mandatory unit with a number of content areas sitting within the single unit. The content that is assessed in the EA and the NEA will be sampled across the full breadth of the qualification. This slide shows the content areas from the subject area of food and cookery. This is where you will also find the indicative content and teaching guidance that will support your delivery. Food and cookery comprises of 7 content areas and all the content is mandatory and must be taught. It is essential when planning for teaching and throughout delivery that the independencies and the links build across the content areas of the qualification and are highlighted and reinforced. The teaching content does not have to be delivered in a linear way. The unit contents are independent in knowledge, skills and concepts. Teachers may take a synoptic teaching approach across the qualification. This concept goes into more detail in our Year 1 Prep to Teach session, which can be accessed on demand in the V Cert playlist on our YouTube channel. Within the specification, there is more detail broken down of the indicative content. Information in the teaching content section must be covered by the teacher during the delivery of the content areas and should be considered as mandatory teaching content. To make cross-referencing, assessment and quality assurance easier, we've used a sequential numbering system in this document for each of the content area. The numbering system used refers to the content area, the subject topic and the teaching content, and the content arranged into digestible areas with bulleted lists for teaching and delivery. The sequential numbering system will also support and signpost feedback to learners and tracking of their progress. Anything within the teaching guidance is advisory and optional and is intended to provide useful advice and guidance to support delivery of the teaching of the content. Also within the specification, there is a section that provides some useful advice and guidance to support the delivery of the teaching content for each of the content areas. At the end of each section, it lists the resources that are available, such as the classroom teaching packs and other resources such as useful websites. The types of evidence listed are for guidance purpose only. Within learners' portfolios, other types of evidence are acceptable if all the content areas are covered. While studying the qualification, learners should also reflect on the importance of identifying and developing their preferred learning style. They should also be able to identify a range of individual study skills they can use to study effectively. Centres must ensure learners have access to suitable resources to enable them to cover all the content areas. Within each qualification specification, there is a resource requirement section. For example, this slide shows the resources that are required to deliver engineering and interactive media. Where there are no mandatory resources requirements, centres must ensure learners have access to suitable resources to enable them to cover all the appropriate learning outcomes. Please do check the qualification specification for the other subject-specific resource requirements. The qualification is linear, meaning both assessments must be taken in the same assessment series and cannot be combined across different assessment series. The table on the slide is an example for the subject of sports studies. After both assessments are complete, the marks for each assessment are combined to give a final mark for each learner. Where raw marks do not reflect the required weighting of the assessment, a scaling factor is applied to the raw mark prior to regression. For each series, grade boundaries are set by NCFE using a variety of statistical and judgmental evidence. There are no UMS scores as there was previously. The overall grade will be calculated using the overall mark, and then the grading thresholds are introduced following awarding. So each learner overall grade is determined by comparing their combined final mark with the grade boundaries for that series. Where a learner achieved insufficient marks across the two assessments in the series to achieve a level 1 pass, they will be awarded an unclassified result. Grade boundaries cannot be set until after all the learners have completed the assessments. There is guidance in the specification regarding overall grading descriptors, but we are unable to translate this into actual data for grading purposes until the learners complete the assessments. The thresholds will be set during awarding, and then the overall grading descriptors will be applied once the overall grade has been calculated using the overall marks. These are the overall grading descriptors for graphic design. So again, please do refer to the qualification specification for the subject-specific overall grading descriptors. These are the grading descriptors to achieve a level 2 distinction, and these are the overall grading descriptors to achieve a level 2 pass. Formative assessment can help track your learner's progress throughout the learner journey of studying this qualification. Keeping a record of each formative assessment's results will allow you to monitor your learner's ongoing progress, predict a final grade, and identify if any or further support or interventions are required. There are various sources of data for performance indicators, such as performance at Key Stage 3, end of topic tests, homework and independent tasks, discussion with learners to assess their depth and breadth of knowledge of the subject content, engagement and outcomes of practical tasks, using the NEA practical assessment criteria, teaching observations and mock assessments. There are also other resources that you can use for performance indicators, such as progress checks in the teaching materials, sample assessment materials using the EA mark scheme, and the NEA mark ranges and descriptors. It is worth noting the range of marks in the NEA mark scheme could also be performance indicators. For example, as a guide, 7 to 12 marks could be a distinction, strong level 2 merit, 4 to 6 marks could be a merit, strong level 2 pass, and 0 to 3 marks could be in the level 1 range. Another useful way to track your learner progress and to predict overall grades is to use the overall grading descriptors in the specification. Our Year 1 Prep to Teach webinar, as well as other useful bite-sized sessions, are available on the V Cert playlist to further support your formative assessment of your learners towards the successful achievement of this qualification.
I'm going to now provide you with some detail about the examined assessment, including the sample assessment materials that we have available. To summarise, the external assessment, or the EA, is 40% of the technical award for all subject areas except for child development and care in early years and health and social care, where it is 50% of the technical award. It is a written examination that is externally set by NCFE, and learners have 1 hour and 30 minutes to complete it, and it's graded out of 80 marks. There is a mixture of multiple choice, short answer and extended response questions, and it targets assessment objectives AO1, AO2 and AO3. The examination date is May-June every year, with only 1 attempt permitted. Booking for the EA is upon registration, and please do refer to the external assessment timetable on our website for the confirmation of exact dates, which will be published a year in advance of the actual EA. Surpass is our online assessment system that allows centres to deliver external assessments securely on screen. The technical requirements that must be met to run the online assessment are outlined in our technical specification document. You need to complete the registration form and a member of the relevant team will contact you. Once you're approved, there are various support guides aimed at supporting members of staff involved with different stages of the assessment process. For more information and support, please do see our website and the V Cert playlist. As I've said, there are three main types of questions on the external assessment, and where possible, they have been set within the context of the subject area with real-world case studies. And the examples that I'm going to use on this slide are from the various subject areas. The first type of question is multiple choice, and they are usually 1 mark, and multiple choice questions cover assessment objective 1. The second type of question is short answer, and these are usually around 2 to 4 marks. And the third type of question is extended response, and these questions are usually 6 marks or more. The examples on this slide are a 9-mark question and a 12-mark question. There are sample assessment materials available for the EA, and these are for you to use as mocks, whether that's the summer of year 10 or January of year 11, whenever you feel it will be the most beneficial for your learners. On this slide is an example from health and social care. Sample assessment materials, including the mark schemes, are available for you to access on the NCFE website on the V Cert page. I'm now going to provide some more detail about the non-exam assessment, including again the sample assessment material we have available. The NEA is essentially the synoptic project that some of you may be familiar with. The NEA is a practical project that your learners undertake under controlled and supervised conditions. It has a set number of tasks that are to be completed in a set number of hours. The NEA is externally set by NCFE, and there'll be 1 attempt at the NEA per session, so there is no resubmission opportunity. The example of the NEA summary on this slide is from child development and care in early years. In all subject areas, the NEA is either 60% or 50% if it's child development and care in early years and health and social care of the technical ward, and has a set total of marks. A different NEA brief will be released every September, and it targets assessment objectives 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Like I said, the NEA brief will be made available on the 1st of September each year, and it's accessible via the portal in the Assessment External Moderation tab. Your learners need to be registered and booked onto the NEA in order to access it. For further guidance after registering your learners, click on Bookings, View Assessments, type in the batch number and then search. Select all learners in the batch and then click View Bookings. Click on the booking window, scroll right to the bottom, and then you can see both the EA and the NEA documents. And you do have to go to the bottom to see the documents. If you do require further support in relation to the portal or registering learners, do check out our portal support guide or contact our customer support team. The NEA will be electronically available on the 1st of September in the year of certification, and the final NEA marks are to be submitted to the portal by the 30th of April. All teaching must be complete prior to accessing the assessment, and the learner must be booked onto the NEA associated with the year of completion. Subject-specific tutor guidance has been produced to support the delivery of the Level 1-2 technical awards for both the EA and the NEA. It is not intended to replace the specification documents, but should be used in conjunction with them to support the successful delivery and completion of the qualification and assessments. And you'll find this document in the support materials section of the qualification page on our website. Prior to commencing the formal set hours of the NEA time, learners should be allocated 2 hours of preparation and research time. During this time, learners may have access to the project brief and associated documents, but may not access the NEA tasks. This 2-hour time period is entirely open book, where learners can access their teaching and learning materials, textbooks, the internet and other published materials. From this, they should develop a research support pack which can then be used as their source of information when completing the NEA. The research pack should be no more than 4 sides of A4 in font size 12, and this can be handwritten or electronic. Some tasks within the NEA do permit the use of the internet to support the completion of the task. Learners will be required to submit a copy of their internet browsing history to ensure that the controls around internet use have been adhered to. And where the NEA does allow for research requiring the use of the internet, learners must also reference the sources in their work, and learners must cite the sources of their information within their NEA. There is a useful table in the tutor guidance document in section 8 that will show you if the use of the internet is permitted and if the internet browsing history is required. There is also specific guidance for each task within the NEA, and the inclusion of these tasks is to illustrate the proposed structure and timings required resources in addition to the pack developed in the preparation and research time, and if any additional requirements around delivery or controls. Also, within the tutor guidance document, within the regulations for the conduct of the NEA, instructions are provided on the correct administration of the assessed NEA. NEA tasks must be issued one at a time and in correct sequence to appropriately meet the requirements of the task in terms of resources and organisation of the learning environment. All learners should start each task at the same time to promote fairness and prevent unfair learner advantage and aid centre manageability. Learners can rework their evidence at any point during the supervised sessions, but supervisors must not give any feedback to the learner on how a task or area can be improved. Learners' work must not be assessed, marked, or internally quality assured during the supervised sessions. And learners will have one opportunity to sit the NEA each session. Therefore, if a learner does not achieve, they will need to be re-registered to sit the NEA and the EA for the next series. NEAs cannot be adapted in any way by the centre, and this is to ensure that assessments remain fit for purpose and ensure that learners are not disadvantaged or advantaged. It also allows us to standardise mark schemes and removes any inconsistencies across centres and learners, as changes made may impact on the validity of the assessment. Centres will need to plan the sessions to allow learners access to the full completion time available at the end of teaching and delivery. A schedule of assessment must be completed to show the completion time for each task, ensuring that learners do not exceed the maximum task time and the overall NEA time. The assessment must not take place until teaching and learning of all the content areas has been completed. Assessor instructions must be read out to the learners prior to the internal assessment, and supervisors must read out Appendix 1 at the beginning of every supervised session, which is included in the tutor guidance document. The centre must check the subject-specific tutor guidance document to confirm if the use of computers or electronic devices are permitted to complete the NEA. You also must ensure that all learner evidence and assessment materials are stored in a secure location at the end of the timetabled session, and access to this storage must be restricted to authorised personnel only. Learners must not be able to access their work outside of timetabled sessions, and no work can be completed at home or in catch-up sessions. Learners and teachers must also not discuss the assessment brief online or post any assessment material online until after the materials have been retired. The declaration must be signed by the learner and the assessor at the end of the assessment to authenticate their work, and this form can be found at the end of the NEA brief and must be stored securely. Where assessment does require images or videos of learners and/or its participants, the GDPR consent form must be completed by the learner and any other participants. Again, this form will be found at the end of the learner copy of the NEA. After the final assessment session, the learner may not have any further access to their assessment, and it must be securely stored by the centre for marking. All submitted evidence must be authenticated and attributable to the learner, and learners must be made aware of the importance of this and how it may impact their overall grade if evidence is found not to be their learner's own work. Centres must use the descriptors and marking guidance provided by NCFE to assess the learner's work. Learner evidence is internally quality assured and final marks are to be submitted for moderation by the 30th of April each year. Centres will be submitting marks rather than grades that will go forward for moderation. And once the portal closes, the centre will not be able to amend any marks, and these marks are then taken forward with the moderator's marks from the sample to determine final marks for the learners. Prepare to Assess training is available, and I'll provide more details on the next slide.
Centres will be provided with the training opportunities for how to administer and assess the NEA. They will provide valuable information to help you understand our mark schemes, supporting you to run your own standardisation sessions prior to the assessment window open. These events are a great opportunity to expand your knowledge and understanding of V Cert technical awards and are suitable for assessors and IQAs delivering on these qualifications. Attendance to these sessions will also be checked as part of your annual monitoring review, or AMR. The V Cert administration training can be found on our website on the Preparing for Moderation page. It consists of a series of videos supporting you through the administrative requirements associated with moderation, including accessing and uploading assessment materials and submitting marks. The Prepare to Assess training will help develop your understanding of the grading criteria when assessing your learners' responses to the internally assessed units, and it will provide valuable information to help you understand our mark scheme. From September 24, there will be internal standardisation training made available. This continuous professional development package is designed to bring your teams together to align assessment decisions and expectations for the externally moderated components of the V Cert qualification. There are sample assessment materials available for the NEA, and these are for you to use as practical projects, and you can fit these in whenever works best for you. On this slide is an example from the Health and Social Care. Sample assessment materials, including mark schemes, can be accessed on the NCFE website on the V Cert page. NEA example responses are available to download in the assessment materials section of the qualification page on our website. They will not be differentiated by level, as these V Certs are not determined until marks are combined for the EA and the NEA and the overall marks are added together. This is a Band 2 NEA response for the creative design and production. And this is a top Band 4 NEA response example for the creative design and production. You can access the NEA responses examples in the assessment materials section of each subject-specific qualification page. I'll now provide a brief overview of the quality assurance process and then provide some information in relation to moderation. The assessors will assess and mark all learner evidence for the NEA in line with the mark schemes provided by NCFE. The assessors will also complete the assessor to learner feedback form, which is available in your assessment pack and will be released within the NEA brief on the 1st of September. As the NEA is moderated, the centre's IQA efforts need to be focused on upfront standardization. Centres need to apply their own IQA policy or process based on the outcomes of the standardization activities they complete to satisfy their own internal quality assurance. Standardization will ensure assessors' judgments are in line with the qualification specification and grading criteria. In line with the JCQ guidance, centres should inform learners of their centre-assessed marks before marks are submitted to NCFE in order to allow for any internal centre appeals. Centres should make it clear to learners that any centre-assessed marks are subject to change throughout the moderation process. Once the centre has submitted the marks to the portal, learners will be selected for sampling and the evidence will be reviewed by a moderator. Moderation will take place remotely and feedback will be provided on results day in a final moderation report accessed on the portal. For more information and support, please refer to the bite-sized webinars on our YouTube channel. All centres with active registrations will have an annual monitoring review to review your policies and procedures. Your quality reviewer will contact you to suggest a date and time to conduct the AMR. No learner portfolios will be sampled during this review, and the quality reviewer will not provide any subject-specific guidance. For further support, visit our AMR page on our website and view the user guide for the annual monitoring review. If you have any queries about the quality assurance or require further information or support, please see our website or contact our external quality assurance team. Centres will submit learner evidence via the NCFE portal. To reduce the time taken to upload multiple files, it is advised that files created are of a manageable size whilst maintaining quality and reliability. The maximum individual file size accepted by NCFE is 2 GB, and the maximum number of files that can be uploaded simultaneously is 10. To assist with keeping the file size to the required level, we recommend that the recording quality is amended away from what may at times be a default higher definition quality. If you do require more information and support, you can refer to our website, the portal user guide on our YouTube channel, and our customer support team. You will be asked to submit marks for each learner on the portal, and we will use these marks to select learners to be sampled based on the JCQ sampling strategy. A sample will be requested based on stage 3, and you will be able to view learners selected for sampling on the portal. Learners selected for sampling will be visible on the portal the day after the window closes. Centres will be required to view the sampling plan on the portal and upload learner evidence for sampled learners within 48 hours. Guidance on how to do this can be found in the portal user guide. During moderation, the moderator will assess the sample. Following the moderation process and the outcome of our quality checks, one of the following 3 marks will be applied to your cohort. The provider mark confirms that the centre mark has been accepted. A regress mark confirms that the regress mark has been accepted, and this is in line with the JCQ's tolerance of 6%. And the moderator mark confirms that NCFE moderator mark has been accepted. You will receive a moderation report to explain the outcome of the moderation activity along with the areas performed well and areas for development. For further information and guidance, please do refer to the Preparing for Moderation review on our website. I'd now like to explain and give you details of the resources and support that will be available to you in your centres. Visit ncfe.org.uk to find everything you need to know about onboarding, quality assurance, using the portal, moderation and assessment, certificates, training events, forms, support visits and much more. You'll also find a dedicated area to support the delivery of essential digital skills, functional skills, T-levels, as well as the V Certs. including curriculum support and assessment resources. If you're involved in teaching, assessment and quality assurance, these pages will be most useful. The V Cert page, delivery support, assessment support, customer and learner support, and preparing for quality assurance. I'll talk in a little more detail about each one of these over the next slides. On our NCFE website, within the V Cert page, you'll find the information about why choose V Certs and the 14 to 16 schools brochure that contains information about Key Stage 4 vocational education and how to learn more about our V Cert qualifications. They could also be used on option evenings to help learners make informed decisions about which qualifications to take and what the progression opportunities are and the career prospects. You will also find the link to each subject-specific page and contains the information such as a specification, sample assessment materials and teaching materials. We also have our Parent, Supporter and Pupil V Cert Information Hub, where the resources are aimed at helping parents and learners to make informed decisions around the V Certs, including a parent guide, what learners think about V Certs, and subject guides. On both pages, you can also use the Get in Touch function, where you can request more information on subjects you're interested in. There is also an opportunity to tick the marketing communication box to receive updates on our qualification events and news relevant to you via email, on the phone, or through our social channels. You can use our Search Our Qualification function by adding your subject area or qualification code, or you can select V Certs in the featured box. Always ensure you're on the correct page by checking the qualification accreditation number. This is the page for engineering. You can also use the Find a Centre function to explore outside of the classroom learning opportunities, as well as to network with other teachers. If you scroll down, you will see some brief information about the qualification, including the career opportunities and performance table details. And if you scroll further down, you will see the Support Materials tab, where you'll find the qualification specification, the Synoptic Connections document, and the Tutor Guidance document. In the Assessment Materials tab, you will find the sample assessment materials that are available for the NEA and the EA, including the NEA example responses. Lastly, the teaching materials will also be available to download here too. If you don't have a login, it would usually be your exams officer who can help. You can also refer to the portal user guide on our website for further support. There are classroom packs containing ready-to-go teaching and learning materials with everything you need to deliver the V Cert effectively. The classroom packs will be in a digital and editable format and will be free to download. There will be schemes of work with completely outlined entire units of work based on 1-hour lessons for each content area. The schemes of work will contain an additional level of detail to help you deliver your lessons and include with suggested timings, lesson aims, learning outcomes, and suggested assessment activities. You will also have complete PowerPoint presentations covering the teaching content from the specification and includes teaching activities that could be used with your learners. There will be comprehensive workbooks to complement the scheme of work, which will contain classroom-based activities to recap and assess learning. The workbooks will also include independent study tasks that can be used as homework or flipped learning opportunities, whatever you decide. Furthermore, the workbooks will contain learning roundups, which will be short formative assessments for learners to assess their knowledge using similar question types of those that will be used in the external assessment, multiple choice questions, short answer question, and extended response questions. As with all resources, it is best to use them and adjust them to suit your learner. Using actual assessment material is a good way to make revision effective. And as I've already mentioned, there are sample assessment materials that are available on our website. On the delivery support page, you can find the support handbook and the print shop guide. In the training requests and upcoming events section, we can support centres with a range of training options, including support visits, bespoke training designed around your needs, and regularly scheduled training with assessment professionals and internally quality assurance or IQA professionals. Delivery FAQ is where you can find answers to commonly asked questions by exams officers, teachers, tutors, and learners. The FAQs cover everything from becoming an approved centre, registration of learners, claiming certificates, to information about qualification and our complaints procedure. If you have a question that isn't covered, you can always use our live chat feature or contact our customer support team using the contact details on this slide. Finally, on the V Cert delivery support page, you'll see we offer a range of support services for V Cert, such as requesting a support call and the support webinars.
On the assessment support page, here you'll find everything you need to support you with assessment. In special considerations, you'll find the policy, the definition, the timescales, and how to submit a request for the external and internal assessment. In access arrangements and reasonable adjustments section, you'll find everything you need to know here, as well as our modifications for our qualifications, including the ways that fair assessment can be achieved and the associated policies. Assessment and results queries is where you can find the documents, guidance and inquiry forms for assessment results for our qualifications. In the certificates page, you'll find everything that you need to know about certificates for the NCFE and cash qualifications, including sample certificates, invalid certificate form, and replacement certificates. And lastly, the assessment regulations and guides section is where you can find our external assessment regulations, the exam timetable, and the QCID document. We are a member of JCQ, which is the Joint Council for Qualifications, but for 2023-24, we are only partially aligned to their policies and processes concerning the external assessment regulations. For the external assessment, there is a document called the Regulation for the Conduct of External Assessment, and this is a set of generic instructions regarding preparing for the external assessment, administering the assessment, and what to do after the assessment has been completed. For the internal non-exam assessment, there is a tutor guidance document which includes the details about administering each NEA task and the NEA regulations. And there is also a qualification specific instructions for delivery document or QCID, and this gives specific information for the different qualifications. So for example, if the assessment needs to be invigilated or supervised. The Preparing for Quality Assurance section provides you with the information that you need to prepare for a quality assurance review. This page also lists the types of quality assurance reviews there are. So for example, an approval review, an annual monitoring review, an external quality assurance review, and a moderation review. In the quick links, you'll find some further information and guidance on preparing for these reviews. It is good practice to have a course file to help you with your course management, and this should be kept up to date and reviewed throughout the year. In course file documents, in quick links, we've created a course file example to support you, and these examples can be amended to meet your centre specific requirements, or you can use your own templates. If you do have any questions regarding the above, then please do contact our quality assurance team. The customer and learner support page is where you can find everything that you need if you're an NCFE customer who needs to contact us, or a learner who wants to know where they can study NCFE qualifications. The contact us section has all the details that you need so that you can reach the right person quickly and easily. We do pride ourselves here at NCFE on ensuring our customers can very easily access important messages related to our products and services. So please do bookmark this page and check back regular to stay up to date. Our approved centres must deliver our products in accordance with the centre agreement and other mandatory policies as a requirement of the centre approval process. Here you'll also find our mandatory policy and up-to-date fees and pricing lists. Once you have gained approval for a qualification, the next step is to register your learners onto the qualification. Registrations are managed via the registration screen in the portal, and all approved centres will be issued login details to access our portal system, and more information on this can be found in our portal user guide. Before booking onto an external assessment, please do refer to our external assessment timetable for booking cut-off dates, assessment date and times, and results release dates. There is a V Cert playlist on our YouTube channel, and there are numerous webinars, CPD sessions and training events which you can access on demand. And in this playlist you can also access on demand the Technical Award Introduction webinar and the subject-specific bite-sized introductions. Hodder, one of our top textbook publishers, will be providing brand new resources for some of the V Cert subject areas. And there is a second edition learner textbook and Boost ebook. The Health and Fitness, Business and Enterprise, Food and Cookery, and Child Development and Care in Early Years textbooks are available to order now. Revision guides are also available to order, including a revision guide for engineering. And you can view sample chapters on Hodder's website, and if you would like to find out more about their resources or talk to your local representative about promotional offers, then please do contact them directly. iAchieve is also a third-party resource that we endorse, and iAchieve and NCFE have worked closely together over the last 5 years, with iAchieve producing complete online resource packages that support our technical qualifications. iAchieve offer resources for health and fitness, food and cookery, business and enterprise, and child development and care in early years, with an exciting new look and feel and all new platform functions. iAchieve are also interested in adding health and social care, sports studies and engineering to their suite, so do watch this space for further updates, and please feel free to contact them directly to express your interest in these developments. For more information and contact details, do visit their website at iachieve.org.uk. The provider development team supports staff to ensure that you are prepared to teach the qualification and are clear on the requirements for the delivery and assessment of the qualification. We can provide tailored interventions to meet individual needs of the centre, as well as offering a range of other services such as monthly webinars, training sessions and workshops, as well as consultations if required. If you have any other questions or require further support, you can contact us directly using the details on the screen, and your question or query will be directed to a subject specialist within the team, or you can request a support call via our website. We have now covered all the content for the V Cert Level 1 Technical Award Introduction. So, taking a moment, please do think about your confidence score at the beginning, and now just take a moment to consider how confident you're feeling now with delivery, assessment and quality assurance for these qualifications. And again, 1 being little to no confidence and 10 being very confident. We would hope by the end of this webinar you are now feeling more knowledgeable and self-assured about the delivery and assessment of the V Cert Level 1 to Technical Awards. On this slide, we've included some of the useful links for you to refer to if you require further information and support. These links include Key Stage 4 discount codes, the V Cert page on our website, delivery and assessment support, how to prepare for quality assurance reviews, customer and learner support, and our mandatory policies and fees. There is also the link to the V Cert playlist, iAchieve and Hodder. And you can also contact our sales team for pricing and additional products. You can contact our customer support team if you need support with general inquiries, the portal, exam entries, resources, systems and general administration. And you can contact our external quality assurance team if you require any further support related to quality assurance. We have now reached the end of the webinar. You can visit our frequently asked question page on the website, and the questions have been categorised too, so it's easier to find the answer that you need. However, if after today's webinar you still do have any further questions, then please do feel free to contact us using our general email, which is provider.development@ncfe.org.uk. And again, your question or query will be directed to the appropriate subject-specific provider development officer. At this point, please do feel free to leave the webinar, but when you do leave the webinar, we'd really appreciate it if you could complete the short evaluation that will pop up on your screen to help us make any future improvements and/or changes to the service and support that we provide. Again, thanks everyone for listening, and on behalf of everyone here at NCFE, we do wish you a safe and continued successful year.